Hi, I'm Paula Brown. My business is The Heart of Conversation, and I'm an animal communicator. And today I'm here with Casey. And what we did was create a deeper bond and had her little dog communicate its heart needs, and we found some causal solutions. That's what these communications do. They provide you with, what's the cause of the issues that you're having, or what is the basic or the heart of things. So hi, Casey. I know you're up in Oregon and I'm down south. And how's the weather?
Weather's nice, not too smoky today, but we've had some wildfires, but it's nice indoors right now, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we did a communication with your little dog, Meatcat, and she had all sorts of itches and problems with her skin, and she just needed some help. And I don't diagnose, but we came up with some solutions using essences and energy, and we did a thorough read with her. And so, what was the most fun and neatest thing that you got out of this communication and energy read?
There were so many. I would say, first and foremost, what really sort of, took me back was the level of detail and how thorough the energetic read was. I didn't actually know that was something that you were going to do in that detail. So dousing the dog, looking for energy blockages, reading every single one of her chakras. That was something that I've experienced with horses, with veterinarians who are there and physically have their hands on them, but never with anybody from a distance. And in some ways, almost, I think, more accurate, because when you have your hands on an animal, your vision can sometimes get in the way, like your physical vision can get in the way, because you might see a little inflammation physically, or you might see, something on the skin physically, and then your mind will be drawn to that. But with Meatcat, finding out about her third eye and her second and third chakras, going in the wrong direction, how her third eye was just sort of opening and closing, and what emotional centers those tied to, just made a lot of sense for where the dog was at. And you didn't know where the dog was at. Like, I didn't tell you that. It's not like I called you and said, I would like you to read my dog. She's having X, Y, and Z issues. I just said, I would like you to read my dog. And so not only did you pick up on things that, like, I physically had no idea were going on, but the very obvious stuff, like you were saying, the itch, which, thanks to this level of understanding, I've felt very empowered to be able to sort of address it calmly and address it with a very sort of methodical, scientific approach of, we'll try this, and really trusting my dog to let me know what's working for her and what's not. So, in general, that was the essence for me, was just learning things that, learning things that I didn't know, but also sort of being reminded that as dog owners, pet owners, we actually do know more than we think. And learning how to do that.
Yeah, and it's I think we talked a little bit before we started this recording, and it seems like you're trusting your intuition totally now with this animal, because you had a lot of things validated, and this was a remote read, as most of my reads are, so I'm not present, and so it's just done from a photograph and the 5 questions that Casey gave me. And it was very interesting, because I also pick up feelings from animals when I read them, and I just started itching immediately. I said, oh gosh, this poor little guy, he's itching, she's just crazy itching. And so it just happens that way. It's kind of a natural thing for me to be doing, but I'm so glad that you're trusting your healing capabilities with your animal now, and you swatched out some food, and you got some really interesting messages from Meatcat about how much she needed, And that is really fascinating, and it's so rewarding for me to hear. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my big aha moment. I mean, my gosh, the dog is telling her exactly what she needs.
Well, and the second I started that, I mean, this, the day that I started her on that new food, and I was thinking in my, heart and mind, how much does she need? And I was, I asked her, obviously energetically, not with my voice. And the, 4 ounces came to me first. It just felt like the right amount of food. And then within a week, it was like, she was the type of dog that she didn't have inflammation, but she almost did. Her lymph nodes were always just a little chunky, and she just, her skin, when you have a little swelling on your arms or something, everything, it's not too much, but it just feels kind of harder. That's kind of how her whole body felt.
Oh, wow. Huh.
And it wasn't crazy bad, but maybe somebody who just saw her on the street wouldn't think anything of it. But it was something for me that I could feel. And within a week of that, she still had some itch, but everything softened, and softened to the point where I thought, oh, maybe she's losing weight, and I should actually read the back of this thing and make sure I didn't get some weird message that is wrong, And then I looked on the back and it said 10-pound dog, 4 ounces a day. And I was like, wow, that is, oops, sorry, get that rid of that. That was just amazing. And so the softening of her body, the, smoothing of her coat, and now, 45 days in, with flower essences and the diet change, I mean, she's got barely any. I mean, she does still kind of maybe have a little itch here or there, but not the immediately after she eats for an hour, just any part of her body she could get to, which is itch. And that's no longer. So.
Yeah, the read that we did was very interesting because in dowsing, I always ask the animal energetically what it is responding to well, what in its highest good could it use. I don't diagnose, but just basic needs and where the energy patterns are blocked or stagnant. Then we put together the puzzle and come up with some solutions. And one of the reads is the flower essence read for the emotional body. And we found some pretty powerful flower essences that we discovered that, by both Casey and the dog taking, that they synced up, and then each one was available to heal the other that way and calm down and harmonize the emotional body, so the physical body had a chance to relax and take in some food that it was responding to in my dowsing. That it's just almost magical, but it's all there energetically. And even in the conversation, she asked for a few things that helped her out tremendously. And
which I thought of.
Yeah.
I would have never said, like, I'm going to steep peppermint tea, cool it, and then soak her in it. I also thought she's never going to stand for that. Like, I put her in my wheelbarrow and she just sits in there, like, just like loves it. And I was like, I thought for sure she was going to fight, like any dog you'd think would. And it was like when I did it, she was like looking at me like, thanks for finally getting it. No.
Oh, we are so close to our animals. Sometimes we can't see the forest from the trees. And, everybody needs a very objective look at what's happening, because sometimes our animals know exactly what they want and what they need, or can give us hints. They don't diagnose either. They just tell us how they're feeling and, where they need help. And so when you get into where they need help, then you can find some solutions. And it just isn't a conversation. It's actually a healing solution bonding situation to have a communication and energy read done. So I'm so glad Meatcat is doing really well. And you're happy about it too. I'm very pleased. It's great.
Yeah. I am. I mean, it's an evolving process, I think to anybody watching who will watch a video like this and who might be on the fence or might not fully understand, these types of experiences and services they're not cure-alls,
Mm-hmm.
They're a tool to help us achieve better balance with our animals. And for me, there was a lot of physical and emotional sorry, what's the word? Like reassurance,
Yes.
that I could start to trust my intuition a little bit more. And I mean, just as a pet owner, like anytime you can keep your dog out of a vet's office, off of chemicals, drugs, steroids, everyone's better off for that. So I
Yeah.
think I have you in a tool chest of, oops, did I lose you?
Oh, you're back.
Okay, sorry. I'm on my cell phone. But next to a holistic vet or chiropractor, acupuncture, and then there's you. You are a part of that spectrum. So, I'm not interested in knowing my dog's favorite color, but I'm definitely interested in knowing
You probably
better conduit.
Yeah, you probably already know that already. And so she's probably responded many ways. So that's a very intuitive thing. So yeah, what would you say, in conclusion, what would you say that if somebody, like you say, was on the fence about this, what one or two things could be something that they could find value? What's the value? You mentioned a few things, but how can you communicate that to someone?
Yeah, well, I think that for somebody who, if somebody's interested in this type of service, then they're already on some level open to something alternative than just taking a dog to a vet, taking your pet to a vet, or taking it to an animal trainer, right? Because those seem to be the two issues people have most, behavioral and physical. And some people will try to solve the problem with a trainer. Some people will try to solve the problem with a vet. And, sometimes it can be solved. But if you're looking into energy work and animal communication, then you're already likely those things have not panned out for you as alone services. And I don't personally operate that way. However, I did make the mistake earlier this year of taking her to the vet. Well, mistake, maybe not a mistake, but I took her to the vet, and I, had her go on a dose of steroids, which during that process, I felt just an incredibly strong communication from her that we needed to go in the completely other direction. And so, as pet owners, like I was saying, the value is making us better conduits for healing ourselves and for our animals. And if you're looking at animal communication and energy work for your pet, then you should look into it for yourself, because it is a two-way street, and I was crying during our read, because there were so many things that come up as you kind of go through this process and realize, like, wow, I had no idea, or wow, I did, but now I know for sure. I think there's no dollar value you can put on that. And it's not to say that veterinarians and trainers don't have their place, but if you are more informed and you are more empowered, then you're less reliant on outside resources. And then for people who, want to be lifelong pet owners, you're in a situation where you can help others, and you're in a situation where you could do some rescue, and you could do some rehab, and you can start to hone these skills. I think, the skills and gifts that you have are quite unique. But I think we all have a little bit of that in us in some way, and some more than others, but you can sort of learn to harness that and use it in your life. And I don't think there's any amount of money that is too much to pay for something like that. I don't know. That's how we live that's life.
Yeah, it's definitely touches the heart. And that's where I get my wonderful aha moments, because everyone is different. every animal is different, every person is different, and every heart is different. And I just think it's what makes you cry is the fact that it's touching your heart. And that is so big of a deal. So I just thank you so much, Casey. And I want to put up a little, video for people who are watching the video, just a little screenshot of how to get a hold of me. And so I'm going to try and do the screen share right now. Let's see if we can get this up. Yeah, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There I am. So I'm again Paula Brown from the Heart of Conversation, and you can get a hold of me at 310-621-8512, or you can certainly look up my website at www.animalhearttalk.com. Again, it's Animal Heart Talk with 2 T's.com. And so that's me. That's my information that we can share. And I just want to share my heart with you, Casey, because it's so neat to hear results. And I just thank you so much for having the presence of mind to speak up, and also the comments and things that other people can enjoy by reaching out and touching the heart of your animal. And it's so important. And yes, you're right. Everybody does this 24/7 with their animal, and all you have to do is open up your heart and listen and trust it. And yeah, the first thing you get is your animal speaking, and everybody gets that in a different way, but everybody does this, and we're all connected. And I just want to say a huge, huge, huge aloha to you, Casey, and a mahalo, and thank you very much. So I got to wave goodbye, and have a good time in Oregon, and I just am very grateful for you. And please, please say hello to Meatcat and give her my big hug. Aloha.
Aloha.